one of the things is that we will be introduced to a Sony PlayStation console that will be portable. Okay, we are looking at a attempt at the. This is from leaker Kepler L2, by the way, and they say that the PS6 will most likely be a portable console. This is my artist's rendition of what this will look like. And so this is not official art.
I want it so bad.
Company. And so, as you can see, it's just a Switch with a folding screen. And I was like, that's pretty much what Sony can do right now to make the Switch different.
Well, that's
So-
what I was
it's
gonna
the
say, Simon.
DS,
It's like-
actually. Well, I was gonna
Or
say
go
it's
ahead.
like
No,
the
yeah, go
DS.
ahead.
It's like the DS. That's what this is.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
really gives, is the DS more than anything else.
And that's what I was going to ask you too, is like, what realistically, like, not even just Sony, like, what can anybody really do to improve upon a handheld design past this, right? Like, I'm not saying it can't be done. Maybe my brain just isn't tech creative enough, but like, I don't know. Like, so like when people were going, oh, the Switch 2 is just another Switch, but stronger. I was like, yeah, like, what else? What are they supposed to do? We can't hollow project things yet. So I think this is where we hit our limit.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of like why I went with this is because not only this, but also the Nintendo Switch is going to have this capability or some similar capability to this with the screen effects, where you're going to have some type of augmented reality ability with the screen, where you're interacting with it and your touch sensors are controlling like an artist space, I guess. You have an augmented reality space where you're drawing in this 3D space with it. So
Sort of like a VR game, kind of, right?
Yeah,
like
it sounds.
okay.
yeah.
To me, it just sounds like that's like the DS and the Wii
Yes.
U. Frankly, that's what it is.
Hold it. It looks like 73% of you watching this aren't subscribed. Time to click that button. You know where to find it. Yep. And so this is again, this fold out screen is my addition to this. This is not part of the leaks.
Yeah.
But the console is going to launch this console is going to launch as an addition, by the way, to your PS6 upright. So you will have a PS6 upright that hangs out while you have a PS6 portable that is its companion. So
that's the
essentially,
Wii U.
well, yeah, yes, it is. In fact,
is.
the Wii U. And so that's it's kind of like that time that DC was like, what can kill Superman? And they pulled the Hulk out of their ass and painted him gray.
Oh,
And
yeah.
And that's what happened. Is that how do we defeat the Switch? With the Wii U. That's how we defeat the Switch, with the Wii U.
with a black Wii U. They didn't capitalize on that market. They only went
right.
white. We have this.
Right. We have the technology. And so this is why I went with this design, because what they're describing, the leaker is describing, is this. It's not a lot of information, so that's what we have to go on, is that it's basically a Steamdeck Switch attempt. It's not clear if the controllers will be detachable. There has been no conversation about whether or not this is an attempt to like kidify the next PlayStation to more lean into that family thing that Nintendo has made their like landmark entertainment name around. Because again, Sony's grasping at straws right now. They just picked up Kadokawa and they lost $400 million on Concord. That is a lot of money out the door. They need win after win after win.
For all the focus, you know, like me, Insider, and Nerdigans, and everybody here at Bounding, and everybody in our sphere we've focused on like Assassin's Creed over the past few months. Don't forget, like, Sony is still there. They haven't necessarily gotten better yet, right? Like Cider said, last thing they did was buy Kadokawa. So now we have to see, what do you do now? But they are in a very, very, very struggling spot.
So,
and again, that's just their video games. We're not even talking about their movies, which are tanking. Probably I'm assuming their like physical technology is probably great, because I don't think anybody in Japan will ever. Maybe Mitsubishi will dethrone Sony in like 50 years, but not anytime soon.
So weird. It's so weird.
Right.
Japan's corporations are so weird.
They last forever, and they're just sort of like
they do everything
like Pokemon, right? Like, or so to what Cider says, yeah, these banking corporations over in Japan are like they're not just banking, they're like a banking core, but then they have a bank, and then like lending services, and then like retail stores, like they own brands and stuff, so they're all over the place. But one thing you see a lot with Japanese corporations is like a very long chain of like you can probably track the owners of Sony or like the establishment of Sony to like the Meiji era, right? Like these are they keep
that's fair.
surviving and like just so I think that's what a lot of it is, right? Like they've been in the game, so they just keep being in the game and they keep being at the top of the game. Sort of like how Nintendo was a trading card company before any of this stuff back in like the 1910s.
And so what we're leading about this is what we're learning right now is that the situation is that your portable one leaker, this is kind of the final note from the leaker, is that it will be less powerful. The portable one will be less powerful than the PS5. Okay. So your stand-up one will have the horsepower, and your portable one will have your PS4 power, apparently, or boosted maybe PS4 Pro power. So I guess,
yeah.
You know, again, this is my rendition, so obviously they're not going to be making games that go like this, that look like a tablet game, obviously. It's just my rendition to kind of show you guys the folding screen without it looking completely ridiculous, like a Subway sandwich, you know.
Well, like that's so that's what I was telling you when you shared it with me earlier. I don't know how many of you guys have seen it out there. Well, let me restart that. I'm getting ahead of myself. I really miss this era of technology, or like this aesthetic of technology, the foldable, the like, let's make everything compact. Let's sort of, not hide everything, but make it stealthy, if you will, right? Like you guys all remember when we were kids back when it was like, oh, hold on, I got to answer my phone. We were watching some future thing and it would just like slide up or whatever, right? Like that's the kind of cool stuff, instead of just having my like, yeah, okay, touchscreen is cool, but I'd rather this thing like be in a little pocket and I go, oh, hold on, I got to call Nerdigans, and I like and bump. Japan does this a lot still. I know you know this, Cider, because they still have like cell phone competition over there because of those companies we were just talking about. So they have like sliding phones, spiral. They're really cool. But we have phones like this, even in America. Samsung does a lot of them. I don't know if any of you guys have ever interacted with any of them at like a phone store. They're really cool. Like I don't have one. I play with them at the phone store when I got to go get help or whatever. They're really cool. They're really vibrant. It's really, if you're like a 90s, early 2000s kid, like the three of us are, especially the three of us who always talk about the aesthetics and everything, there will be a primal, like lizard brain activation of like, ooh, this is so cool. The problem is we still have creases. Like you can't perfectly get rid of the crease. And once that goes, I can't wait, because everything is going to be cooler. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, man. I cut you off. So here's the situation. These are current. You can pick them up on the store shelves of Japanese cell phone companies. These are real deal today Japanese cell phones. You'll notice they're not all black rectangles in various shades of silver and white. You know?
Or even in the general same like shape. Like some of them, they have like there's like a good quarter inch of space underneath the like flip canister or whatever, and some of them go all the way down. Like this was the future I wanted.
This one down, no, it's not showing. Come on, how do I get it? Is my cursor over the top of this? There it is. So this one over here, this line right here, I remember this one that came out a few years ago. So what happens is this a flip phone? So you flip this up, right? But then you flip the screen back around. Okay. So when you get the phone down
and then you spin it.
Right. So you can control the touchscreen part when it's in your pocket. And when you want to make a do situation with your phone, right?
With your call, that's so cool.
You open it, flip it around, then you got the touchscreen up top to send information through. It's not cluttered up with your dial pad.
Right.
You got all that space up there to send information through your call. Okay. The other kicker about it is that the camera is on the full back side of the phone where the battery part would be, because the battery's up in the flippity part.
Oh, really?
Yep. So they moved it. They flipped the phone and flipped the phone, flipping the phone.
Oh, I see. Like I want that so bad.
That's why I loved it, because it was like origami to answer a phone call. I love it. You know, it's crazy.
Like the first thing I thought of, like when you mentioned the flip part, I was like, oh my God, the sidekick is coming back.
I wanted a sidekick so bad, Nerdigans.
Me too.
Like, I lost. That's probably the one thing I remember from being a kid, where it's like, I want that. I'm never going to get it. And it always felt like that was going to be the peak of society were
Was the
sidekicks.
sidekick.
Yeah.
It was the sidekick and the BlackBerry that people thought were like the peaks of society.
I got a
we-
BlackBerry. Like my mom had one and she got a new phone. And so she gave it to me. And I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. Like it's just, they're not cool. Like, which is an unfortunate thing, right? You got to have a cool aesthetic to it.
So we do have a $3.33 super chat from Richard here saying, thanks for the heads
Richard!
up, asking those and about it. Yeah, well, we weren't the ones who delivered this one. We were just picking it up off the internet, but we're glad to talk about it because, you know,
Absolutely.
the PlayStation is it's a cultural landmark around the world, but here in the USA, the PlayStation and Xbox have sort of been like Ford and Chevy, Pepsi and Coke, big football team versus other big football team this year. It has been very tribal. And so to see the PlayStation like break off from its like death spiral with the Xbox and to try and like kick Nintendo in the nuts, that's kind of fun, you know? Like I'm entertained to see if they'll go through with this, get your stand-up-y thing and your portable-y thing all as a single package. That would be an interesting thing.
So I think that would actually be super. I would be really interested in a system like that because, like you guys were saying, it is the Wii U, right? Like, and it makes sense to me, guys. If you have it plugged into an actual power source, it's gonna all technology is gonna perform better than if you had it floating on its battery. That's just how life works. So, like that makes sense to me, and that's a really cool idea. Now, my question comes in. If that's only going to be as strong as a PS4 Pro, then does that mean the PS6 has to limit itself, right? Like, do devs have to develop to a PS4 Pro level, or are they going to do it to a PS6 and then do like a Mortal Kombat 1 where they, you know, make another version or a downgraded version that just looks really, 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 really awful? Those are like, that's my main question with this thing. Or go ahead. Yeah.
Well, no, I was just going to point out that it would probably be that when you are in vicinity of your PS6, this machine attaches to it and you're able to play the Horizon Zero Dawn Super Remaster XL 1257.
You know, they just did a new Last of Us, right, Cider?
Yeah, another new Last of Us. Yes, at this point, you could tile your bathroom floor with Last of Us remasters, okay, and never have a repeat. But anyway, it's awful. And so you've got this thing coming.
Yeah, for those who don't know, they just released a new. It's not even like a new, like they didn't upgrade it. It's just like a new steel book for the PS5, and it comes with like 4 shirts for Ellie to wear. Like, and it's like the Last of Us Part 1 first day collector. It's so stupid. We're getting to like Street Fighter naming conventions on that thing,
and because they don't have anything else.
No,
this is something that Leslie asked a little earlier ago, and that's what I think this portable thing is meant to do. What has PlayStation struggled with every single iteration? People have been barking about getting their old games back on their new consoles. Gotta have it, gotta have it. And what does Sony do? La, 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 la. I don't know what you're talking about. You're getting another Last of Us remaster. Shut up. And so I think this is the goal of this thing. Chiefly,
that
is
would
so
be nice.
You can curl up in a corner with your beanbag and your high C juice box and play Final Fantasy 1 all over again. Play Legend of Dragoon all over again. You know, get back in it with Tekken 3. Relive the PlayStation 2 in your lap. Just not
and
like
the PS3
too. Too close, you know.
Yeah, if we're going PS4, we can go all the way up to PS3, and that's I can definitely see, and so. I would love that. You guys know us here. We're all proponents, especially Nerdigans. She talks about the old fat PS3s all the time. Like we are mad advocates for backwards compatibility. It is kind of insane that you cannot use, like, you have to get a whole new machine. I can play my DVDs on my Blu-ray player, right? Like that has sort of always been a thing. Imagine if they went, okay, here's DVDs. Now I guess we kind of went through it when they went, here's cassettes. Oh, now here's DVDs. And you're like, well, shit, okay, now I got to upgrade if I want to play all that stuff. So I wish that would happen. My problem is like, so that stuff does happen very rarely, like good things like that. I can never predict when it's going to come. So I'm always like, oh gosh, like let's hope, because there's so much nickel and diming coming out of these corporations right now that I'm not saying anybody here trusts them, but like I gotta like verify before I could, not trust but verify, but verify then trust with them, because they've screwed us over so many times. But my bigger wonder here, like this, so one, the shift to a handheld thing, I'm not surprised by, because like you said, Cider, the Switch is obviously dominating. Everybody loves it, yada, yada, yada. Steam Deck is also picking up steam, if you will. God, how many times has that joke been made in the history of like ever? Good gosh. But so yeah, like handhelds are on their way back, especially with, like I know the handheld stuff is so popular with kids, especially like when you take them out to places. I literally saw, I went to a Winco food. I don't know if you guys know what Winco is. It's a big sort of, I know, you're a West Coaster like me, but Winco is like the big sort of, it's a big grocery store chain in California and elsewhere, obviously Arizona, because that's where I am. But it's like a co-op thing. Like everybody, all the employees own a part of that particular franchise where they work or whatever. It's a great place. They have bulk snacks. I love it. But I went there to grab some food, and I saw like a Nintendo Switch just sitting on a stack of candy, right? Like I turned it in, obviously, but to my point, like kids love these things. They're bringing them everywhere. They're really good for, unfortunately, if, mom and dad have a headache, we need them to be quiet. Here's a Switch for 5 or 10 minutes or whatever. So like even Xbox has been trying to get in on this. There was a leak a little while ago that said they were going to be trying to launch their own handheld. I believe you and Nerdigans talked about it during one Tokyo Happy Hour a while ago. Yep. And that isn't moving forward right now. There was actually a recent interview with Phil Spencer, and he was like, yeah, we're working on it, but we don't have anything concrete yet. So that move is going to probably be more common as we go forward. What really gets me is if this is true in any capacity, or like, and by that, I mean, if we are even close to a PS6 in any realistic way, even if it's the first plans have been put into motion today over at Sony in Japan, why? Like that, there is nothing. The PS5 has nothing, right? Like this was not a generation. You have maybe like 3 games off the top of my head that I can think of that were exclusive that made it there even be a reason to buy a PS5. And what is it? It's like Astrobot, Returnal, and something else not popular.
Final Fantasy. Well, there's Final Fantasy as well that was exclusive for the PS5.
Well, it was for a little bit, but it's not anymore, which is what I'm saying. Like now, there's only like 3 games or so that are locked on the PS5. And to that point,
Stellar Blade too, before I forget, but before it launched.
No, Stellar Blade's coming to PC, so that one's not locked there either.
Not anymore. So, and it was the same.
But
I'm talking Insomniac games too.
But yeah, I'm talking about right. Yeah, I'm talking about right now, like at this moment. Because yeah, if I went through the history, there's probably about 20 exclusives that I could cite, but all of them have been ported either to PC or to the 360, or not 360, the whatever Xbox is currently in the wild. Some of them have even tried to go to Switch. So when you have consoles like that's probably the last remaining bit of why consoles exist, right? It is exclusivity and what games you might get there. So if you go, here's my PS5, come play my exclusive games, and then you go, oh, by the way, there's only really 2 of them, and really only like Astrobot is the one kind of that everybody's clamoring for. There's no reason to go buy your PS5, especially when I could go get a moderate PC for about the same price and have full backwards compatibility with not just PlayStation or Xbox, but Nintendo consoles, the PC library. I can stream, I can do all of this stuff. So if they're going, it's PS6 time, I'm going, PS5 has no games. Like where are the games? Did you do anything with that?